Matt Simmons here, mattsimmons.org. Today we're going to talk about distractions. This seems to be one of the hottest topics when it comes to prayer. Distractions are inevitable. The first thing we have to do is let go of this notion that they're not going to be there, that you're going to be able to quiet your mind down, that you're going to be able to still it, that you're going to be able to completely change that. That is a total lie straight from the pit of hell to agitate you. The reality is your mind is constantly going. There's stuff in there. You're thinking about things, you've been doing things, you've been taking in information from all over the place, right? Just from these little devices like I'm recording from right now, we take in information and stimulus all the time. Driving down the road, talking to your kids, talking to your wife, doing work, schoolwork, anything like that, information is coming into the brain. Right? When we get silent to pray, silence is the great amplifier. It takes everything in our interior life and it magnifies it and it makes it worse, right? It makes it louder or better or more sad or more disturbing or more distracting, whatever the case is for you, right? So it amplifies everything. So if we want to quiet that down, there is a couple key things we can do to do that. On the macro level, pay attention to what kind of information you're taking in. Do you take silence throughout your day, right? Or are you inundated constantly? Those are the two things that I'd ask, right? One, change your content. Change what you're putting in your mind. So, because if you're taking in the things of God, it'll help you to be focused on the things of God. If you're continually Netflix binging and watching Corona pandemic or other heart-wrenching newsworthy things, then it's going to take you there. Whatever you give your attention to is what you're going to receive. It's what's going to come into you. Number two, do you take silence throughout your day? Do you take silence? Because if your prayer time, if your 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes is the only time of silence you have during the day, then that is when your mind is going to filter out. When I was a kid and in high school, early high school, we'd go to Village Inn on the weekends and smoke cigarettes and drink coffee, right? And that place would just be full. They'd have to open the doors just to let the smoke fill out, right? Well, it's no different in our day-to-day life when it comes to prayer. Opening the doors is silence. All that information you've taken in, that's when it comes out. So if that 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour a day is your only time of silence, all that information you've taken in, that's when it's going to filter out and it's going to go. Okay. So take time throughout your day. What I do is I try to break my day up into 3 segments: morning, afternoon, evening. I take time to pray in the morning. I take time to pray at night. And then at around lunchtime, around dinner time, whenever the natural transitions are, I take some time for silence, right? Because what I want to do is I want to go from the morning into my afternoon without carrying a bunch of information, noise, and undealt with loose ends, right? All that does is create stress and it creates more stuff. So take that time. For me, it's about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes where I'm just quiet, right? I think about the things of the day, what's happened this morning. I'm about to do that transition here before too long. It's getting to be later morning. So I'll pause and I'll think about some of those things and I'll deal with them. I had a friend come to me for spiritual direction some time ago, and he was like, I'm really distracted. I'm just distracted. I was like, oh, okay, what are the distractions? And so he started telling me. And I came to see him like, you have to deal with those things, right? Like, they're not distractions. They're things that are undealt with, that you haven't dealt with yet. So doing something like breaking your day up and taking some set times of silence will help you deal with some of those things. So that's on the macro level. On the micro level specifically, what do you do to deal with distractions when you're in a time of prayer? Because hopefully you're reordering your life on the macro level, so you're not taking in as much information. You're changing the kind of information you're taking in. And then hopefully you're also taking some spaced out silent times throughout your day so that this information all can filter out, so that now when you come to your time of prayer, you can have the best possibility of it being silent. So what do we do in the time of prayer when distractions come up? Well, this is really simple. The Catechism says that prayer is a battle. It's a battle. Part of the battle of prayer is to keep your mind focused, right? It's to keep your mind focused and attended on one thing, which is God. Because we're at a place of prayer specifically to turn our mind, our heart over to God so that he can enter in, right? So in the time of prayer, things may come up to distract you. Pay attention to what those thoughts are, right? On a little bit broader level, have you ever been to a picnic and you're trying to eat and there's those flies rolling around and they're really freaking annoying and they're landing on your nose and then on your ear and then on your eyebrow and then on your chin, then on your food and on your finger. And the whole time you're just like, bah! And freaking out because they're right there and you can't get them away. And all you've been doing is thinking about the dang flies and that's it, right? You totally lost sight of the person sitting right in front of you who you're trying to have a conversation with, a family member, your spouse, friend, whatever. You're totally gone. Well, that's what distractions are there to do. The battle is that the distractions, those flies, are those thoughts that have come to distract you from the one whom you're there to converse with, the one before you. So the first thing is, don't look at the distractions. This whole thing I said earlier about how it's false that you're going to get your mind to be quiet, that's really contemplative prayer, which is purely a gift. And it's a gift that comes the more you enter into focus and attentiveness on God, right? Then he rewards you with silence, stillness, contemplation. But don't follow the flies. Don't look over here and over there and up there and down there and everywhere, right? Don't follow them. That's to fall right into their trap. That's to follow the thoughts and take your eyes off the Lord. So stay focused upon him. Now, the actual thoughts that are coming in. If you're dealing with a series of unrelated thoughts, just something different, one after the other, the dog, the tacos, work, all the spouse, kids, YouTube, whatever it may be, then you want to just let those come into your mind and let them go. When you find yourself distracted, turn your attention back to the Lord, okay? If those thoughts are related, and it's the same thing that keeps coming up over and over, ask the Lord to remove the distraction, right? Lord, I'm here to pray with this passage of scripture today, or I'm here to pray my rosary, or I'm here to just be present to you in adoration. Please, Lord, remove the distraction from me and let me to focus on you. Do this 3 times. If he doesn't remove it after 3 times, turn your attention to that distraction. He may be wanting to talk to you about it. He may be actually bringing it to the fore so that he can help you, he can love you, and he can serve you and change you and heal you, right? So distractions are an issue in the spiritual life, right? And there's big ways to deal with that and little ways, but God is there in the midst of it. If you remember one key thing, it's to stay focused on him. If you want a daily practical that you can do in daily life, right, to help start working on this ability to be attentive and to listen, it's to put down your phone for a while. Don't pick it up every single time that it goes off. Every time there's a ding or anything else. Just be attentive to the one you're in conversation with. Do some phone-free time, right? Do some media-free time. Do some device-free time to where you're just focused and attentive on the person in front of you. And as you notice you're not and you're distracted and you're floating off over here into wherever, bring yourself back. Just bring yourself back gently. Don't get mad at yourself or anything else. You're just like any other person here, just like me or Joey or Monica or anybody else, right? And that you get distracted by stuff. So be gentle. Jesus is gentle with you. He's patient, he's kind, he's merciful, and he's loving. So be patient, be kind, be merciful, and be loving to yourself and to others, and you'll weather distractions. And then they can actually become a point of deepening intimacy with you.